just to give y'all a little bit of a taste of something besides me riding down the road talking to my camera. This is the 92 Pontiac FIrebird that I'm now purchasing from my son. Not real fond of those wheels either, especially not since the back ones are wider than the front. It really makes this thing ride funny. It is a T-top car, and it is a locked T-top car. But I just happen to have the keys. Before we get in there, there we go. Before we go getting inside, this is what Genius did. Him and his cousin. You can see you can push it down by hand pretty much. But that's what old Genius and his cousin did. Oh, poot. Wind. But it really needed the hood replaced anyway, because you can see in there all the cowl induction stuff's gone. It doesn't have the cowl induction air cleaner on it. The one salvation is the dash isn't cracked. It's nice and clean and solid all the way across. Interior's kind of old and worn. See, the hood's sprung right here too, because it's sprung right here and the hinge isn't laying down right because they broke the strut off. And it's a little worse on this side as far as the bending goes. So I'm looking at just going to a junkyard and trying to find another hood with the cowl induction scoop on it, hopefully with the cowl induction in it. It does have a cracked windshield, unfortunately, but it's all down low. Aside from that, the body's pretty well straight. Yeah, I had a little fun with it in the mud. Figured since I wasn't able to cut grass or do anything else, I'd get out in it and have a little fun. $500, I'm gonna get a bunch of fun out of it. Squall them tires, whip it around a few corners and curves. I don't know what this is. Oh, mold from it sitting there. See that? Sitting there so long it's growing fungus around the gas cap. Does have the third brake light here. On most of these cars with this spoiler, it was actually here, which still makes me think this is an aftermarket spoiler. Yeah, especially since it's loose. I've been told by my son that that's not the case. It does have the electronic hatch release and everything, and it does still have the roll cover for covering up the cargo area, what little bit of one you got. Need to replace the door pin. There's one of the other hood hinges. You can see the seats are pretty well depleted, but there's still something there to sit on. You're not sitting on springs. Plastic on the console's coming apart. The airbag is kind of warping out of its form, so that's not very fun. Now it's got the red dash gauges on it, 156,000 miles on it, but it still runs really good. Yeah, see that camera? It's not one of my normal ones. This is actually one of the first almost DSLRs I had. It's a Canon S5IS. It only records in AVI. I'm crank this sucker up for you. No flashlights. No check engine. I believe that's in here anyway. Oh, that's a turn signal. Okay. The high beams are broken, so don't worry about hitting that. That's where I always liked riding with these things. Seats won't go back. They're rusted in place. Headliner got a little rip right here. Kind of cobbled back up over here and back here. Looks like he put an aftermarket headliner in here and tried to glue it in place and failed miserably. But that's all stuff I can fix. Screwed up over here. Plastic's broken. These are just little things that don't mean much now, but T-top seal. This is mostly just my documentation. Fastens back down good and tight. Doesn't have the locks in it. Those are easy enough to get and put in it though. And yeah. Pop what's left of the hood. Let you listen to the muffler. Yeah, that's called Flowmaster. It is a 4-speed overdrive. This window don't work. This window works, but it's sort of slow. Woo! Thing's burning rich. Of course, I need to take it to the gas station immediately. So I'm going to shut it off so I don't run it out of, and of course the ignition doesn't work right. There is no lock on the ignition. That don't mean you can steal my car, because it don't turn without the key, at least in it. Just don't turn it off. So the first order of business, so I can fit my big tail in it, is probably going to be taking those seats out, and if nothing else, at least sliding this driver's seat clear back, and it'll come back almost right up against that back seat. That's where my IROC was anyway. Don't like that nose cone. If I can find another nose cone for it cheap, that sucker's gone. I hate the look of that thing. I mean, it's not bad, but I just don't like it. Now, another thing is, this is a heavy hit. But aside from that, this is a 20-year-old car. It runs pretty smooth. Of course, an air conditioner needs recharged in it. The hood's stuck down over there, the latch. It's got 134 air conditioner in it, but R12 air conditioner in it. But I'm gonna show some 134 conversion kit on it, so I can actually fill it up. It is just a 305. believe it says it on the hood right there. But yeah. And the hood does latch down, as you can see. I don't know why they didn't do that before they took off in it. Of course, we just still had to do some kind of surgery on it, so. One of his bottle rockets that he didn't shoot off. Well. Of course, it's been soaked and re-soaked, so I don't really expect it's going to be any good now. Need new window seals. Now this can be a project car. Now, see you can see it through all the grass. The big squared off exhaust. That comes, it's a 4-inch pipe from where the catalytic converter is supposed to be back. There is no catalytic converter on it. If I'm going to drive it on the road, I have to remedy that. He's already purchased one, and I'm going to get it welded onto the car and see if it'll pass emissions. I'm doubting it, because like right now it's sitting there burning a little rich. Let me dig up some rot there. That is something I wanted to address about. Right there's some more. The rockers, the floor pan are all rusted right in there. So what I'm wanting to do, and this is going to be a lot of work, but for something, I mean, it's a labor of love. For one, I love these cars, but they got to be put together right. I could probably sell this one right now for maybe 800 bucks, unless I get underneath it and look. The bottom side of those rockers are rotted almost all the way down. That's no big deal. That's just a stick of metal on each side. But the floor pan has a cut almost even with the back of that door. Goes straight across about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 feet, and it's rotten there also, almost like somebody was trying to cut something out to put the new floor pans in it. They do make a kit that fits in there like that. Well, what I'm wanting to do is find out where inside here this thing is seamed. Starting up at the firewall, probably right at where it bends to go up the wall, wherever the seam is, there is where I'm going to start and go as far back as I have to, and just take the floor pan out of another body that somebody's giving up on and weld it in place on this one. Tell me I'm not doing something way over the top. But once I weld it all back together and it's welded properly, it'll be a jam-up car again. At the moment, I have $500 tied up in this car. Well, not yet. I'm tying $500 up in this car. I didn't have it all to give him at once. But a little bit of rust there. The floor pan thing, which is a major thing. No rust there. There's quite a bit under the rocker on that side. Wished I'd have taken video of that while we had it up on Michael's lift, but I didn't want my son getting disappointed. At the time it was his car and he was still real excited about driving it, having it. Now that he's relinquished it to me, dear old dad's gonna see what he can do with it. Could be fun. I know I got myself in a world of trouble with a car like this before. We'll see what happens this time. It's really dirty because him and my wife have been driving it in this muddy driveway. But this is his Grand Am GT. And I will say, for those of you that'll dog it out, I think it's a 3.4 liter V6. Or for those of you that would dog it out because it's a Grand Am or a 4-door, don't get it mistaken. It is a Grand Am GT, and this little sucker will fly. Of course, it's a 2002, and it's locked. I was going to get a good look at the motor, but it just says Ram Air V6. So I'm not real sure what it is, but I believe it's the 3.4. I won't swear to it. And yeah, he's got the HID lights on it. And his most miserable moment is when this starts happening. The seal comes out from around them because they're aftermarket. And he thinks somebody's bumped up against them because they occasionally they'll work their way out and you have to push them back in. But everybody that's driven it has told me that those lights are bright as I don't know what. So evidently that's not a big deal. You got to decide whether you want to push them back in occasionally and have daylight out in front of your car, or, and I always hated that spoiler, or have the regular lights and not be able to see real well. Anyway, that's that.